We have gone from street prostitution to corporate prostitution. Reality on the ground, that is our topic of discussion today. And what better place to go than my workplace, because this is where the corporates live. So right now I am at the rooftop of Daily Monitor. I work here, yes I do. And I'm going to talk to some of my friends, the people that I work with. They are the corporates. I want them to explain to us where this corporate prostitution, who started it? How did it even, it has eaten us all up in a way. Well, the conversation is on our social media platforms as well, at NTV Uganda, #morning at NTV. My name is David Rukasi, and Reality on the Ground is brought to you by Barclays. I have a friend of mine here that I'm going to be talking to. Rachel, come and we talk. You are the corporates here, Rachel. But Banang, street prostitution is not anymore. Okay, not entirely. It's still there, but corporate prostitution has taken over.
Yeah, corporate prostitution has basically it begins like from campus. Someone who was already a prostitute at campus. She would go maybe on the streets and have all this. So now she gets a job. After graduation, she gets into a job, a good job, maybe say banker or works at Monitor. Okay, we don't have any here, but though
I'm not sure about that. You can go on.
Okay. So when they get the jobs, of course, they need to maintain the standard of living where they now moved out of their parents' home, from hostels. Now they're living in places like Nalia. You're paying a house of, say, 700,000. And then you need to maintain the level, the dressing, expensive clothes. So it becomes corporate. Now you can no longer go back to the streets because you need to hide. Nobody will see you on the streets. You're working in a bank, then you go back to the street, say like at Speak Hotel, you're there. Then your friends will be driving out and they go like, don't we know this person? So you're better off hanging out in the rich areas, say expensive hotels, classy hotels. You go, meet these people for an hour, maybe lunchtime, sneak out for an hour, go make your money, come back, nobody knows where you've gone. So the corporate one, I think, is becoming a more classy way of what people are now terming as sex. So is it what? Is it sex work? No, sex workers.
Sexual workers.
Sexual workers, yes. So it has now become a job of work, really. Now sex is a whole job. It's falling in job careers. So you get out for 1 hour, go do your thing, come back. Massage parlors also are providing that a lot. You sneak out, go do that, come back.
So you find students from universities, you find people that have good jobs, what you would term as a good job. You're earning 1 million shillings a month. You know, you're working for Daily Monitor, you're earning 2 million Uganda shillings a month. You're working for a company. These students at university, and they are ending up in this. Why is the need for people who you would think are living an averagely good life for them to get into such a practice?
You can never have enough money when you begin this. It's a trap. When you begin prostitution, it's a trap. You stay in there, you need to always keep maintaining the good looks, wear expensive perfumes, look good. They actually look good, and their bodies they're perfect. Actually, when a man looks at them, it's a perfect chick.
So we should just blame it on slaying?
I think so. We should blame it on slaying.
The disease is slaying.
Even if you go to, say, let's say, even if it's shows, you will find these are the girls who are in the area of the VIPs. Those ladies who hang around VIPs at shows, those high-profile events, 70% of them, most of them are corporate sex workers.
Rachel, the advantages of being a corporate prostitute.
Money,
slaying.
You get the money, you drive a good car, you dress nice.
Yes.
Then you have, of course, you smell nice too.
You smell nice, you have the latest gadgets.
Yes.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
God. It's the list is endless.
Nice.
When you have money, you can buy anything.
The disadvantages, let us not get too excited.
Yeah. I think it's also self-respect. It goes. You yourself as a person, you don't have the respect.
You don't have respect for yourself.
And then also there are also risks in it. Some people are killed in the end. You get there and maybe this guy had his own issues. You find those are the women who are murdered in hotels. Some of them. a beautiful woman was murdered in a hotel. How? What happened? We just saw her walking in with a nice handbag, and so they are murdered. Then it also becomes a trap. You can never leave. Yeah. So that's a sad thing. You can still bear children. Then also, you hardly, now, of course, if you have dreams of getting married at some point, you are never satisfied.
Where are we going with this?
We're digging our own graves. That's it.
Is there an end to this? Do you see?
I think it is. I don't think they can legalize this. They can't legalize it.
No way.
And who wants to be seen as a sex worker?
Sex worker.
This one is a sex worker. Nobody wants to have that. I think it's just growing bigger, and nothing can stop because the men will want to have these people there.
Oh yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And it is, of course, it takes two hands to clap. Yeah. So if the men are not stopping, how will the women stop? So it's still going on.
That's a very good question. It's two hands to clap. If the men are still in demand of these people.
And they probably are not even having enough of it.
So, interesting topic. Reality on the ground, we're talking about corporate prostitution.
Yeah.
So the one thing I have learned is ngalo zibera bidi okuba mu ngalo. You can't clap with one hand. So we can't entirely blame the women, the slay queens, but even us, the men, are playing a big role in this. Reality on the ground, powered by Barclays. We're talking about corporate prostitution today. And being a Friday, perfect conversation. Social media, we are there. Hashtag morning at NTV, at NTV Uganda. You can join in on conversation and share your thoughts on this. In studio, we have APAS and we have Judith Had as well. We're going to get into that conversation and more. Reality on the ground, morning at NTV. Good morning if you just joined us. We're talking about corporate prostitution, and I had to go to my work of place because I know that's where the corporates are. The ladies say it's the men that are fueling corporate prostitution. Reality on the ground is brought to you by Barclays. Thank you very much. Join the conversation on our social media platforms at NTV Uganda. The hashtag is morning at NTV. You are the corporates, sir. The ladies say...
I don't like that word.
You don't like the word, eh? Hey, boy.
I'm a Ugandan.
Are you Ugandan?
Yes.
Immunized, not?
I'm immunized.
You're
Yes.
immunized.
Yes, yes.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Corporate prostitution, man.
Yeah.
Street prostitution has entirely been abandoned. But
It will never be abandoned.
It will never be. But corporate prostitution is taking over.
Sure.
Where does this all come from?
At the end of the day, when you have an economy where there's unemployment and there's a desperation by the young people to get sufficient resources to take care of themselves, it's inevitable that such a phenomenon is going to arise, and it's a combination of factors, but ultimately people have got to make ends meet, and usually they'll opt for the shortcuts as opposed to engaging in things that are going to provide them the resources to make ends meet.
You see, when you meet some of these girls, everyone calls them slay queens these days, you see people who have relatively okay jobs, which can, off that they can survive without getting into this sort of prostitution. But you still find them wanting more. Is it greed? Is it?
It's greed. It's greed, but there's also there's a penchant for riches, for instant riches. Everyone wants to live in a fancy house, wants to drive a fancy car, wants to go for a holiday, in some of the most beautiful places. And there was a time when, well, at least when I grew up, to rise in society, you had to have humble beginnings. You had to get an education and do work, apply for a job, get a job, work, save, and you build yourself slowly but surely. But right now, you have a trend where people are in in their vacation, senior citizen vacation, in their first year, and they want to have as much as someone who's been working, who's been in the field for 20 years, you know. And sometimes it's not that they can't look after themselves, it's just that they want to have everything at a go, everything in an instant, and life doesn't work like that. Sadly, it's a trend which is spreading like a bushfire, and you have a generation which is growing up, looking up to the so-called slave queens, looking up to them as, for the lack of a better word, as models of a kind, and they want to emulate them. So inevitably you have a generation which is now becoming part of the whole slang business, and that's when the whole corporate prostitution spreads like a bushfire.
Is there an end to this?
Well, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, prostitution is the oldest profession, you know, and I mean, it's got to evolve in so many forms. So while prostitution will outlive all of us, we're just at the beginning of corporate prostitution. I don't see it happening, unfortunately. If I had the means, I would put a stop to it. I can't, and that's the reality we live in, and you cannot regulate it, you can't legislate against it, because it's not like it's happening out there. It happens in all forms and kinds, and in hotels, even in workplaces, by the way, even workplaces. Yeah. So I don't see it ending. Certainly not in our lifetime.
Okay.
I'm afraid.
He's a sportsman. He's not known for talking about anything that is not sports, but today we got him into a corner to, you know, because they're the corporates, though he says he doesn't want to be called that, but they're the corporates. Reality on the ground, morning at NTV. Corporate prostitution is what we're discussing today. Thanks to Barclays, we go down to Omuntu Wawansi, though today Omuntu Wawansi is Omuntu Wamakati, sort of. We're talking about corporate prostitution, and you can join the conversation and share your thoughts on corporate prostitution. Where do you think it all comes from? Is it greed? Is it people wanting to live a life they haven't worked for, or is it just life and we should just accept it the way it is? Morning at NTV. David Rukasi, good morning.
Calling all stadium shaking, crowd igniting super fans. Watch your local press for details on how you could win the Premier League experience of a lifetime.